Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And my name is Jacob Kier, filling in for Joel Alconnen.
Welcome
Welcome to Pre-Market Info.
to Pre-Market Info it is. And we have some pre-market info for you here on JCPenney as well. What is going on? Yesterday they come out, press release saying everything seems to be okay here at JCPenney. Actually, Allman kind of hinting, or I guess CNBC was reporting at least, that Allman was saying they don't see any conditions that they would need to raise equity this year. And what do they do after the bell there, Jake?
They just casually dropped an 84 million share offering. Roughly 40% of the float.
Wow. So obviously it's trading back down here near the lows. They're pricing this 84 million shares. Goldman's going to underwrite it at $9.65. That's where the stock is trading basically right now at $9.62. So enormous secondary offering here, basically diluting the float by 40% here. So despite everything that JCPenney released in their press release intraday to get their stock to pop from $9.50 to over $11, obviously everything isn't as good as they were saying, or they wouldn't need to raise the kind of money that they're trying to raise here.
I mean, it's just an absolutely huge offering. We got word around 5:30 of what it was going to price at around between 935 and 965. So I guess at least they got the high end of that range, but
Wow.
still pretty far below. What they closed at yesterday, about 8% below it, and obviously adding a significant amount to that float. So I mean, that's just that's just a huge offering. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's kind of interesting to speculate whether they can raise debt or equity ever again after this, or at least for quite a while until they show some serious health. So this might be their last shot at it.
They better hope they can sell this too, because if the stock starts trading significantly below this price, it doesn't look like it's going to here in the pre-market. But if it starts to go down, I'd be a little hesitant to, come jump on a secondary here at 965 if the stock starts trading below this price. Traded down to 952 in the regular session yesterday, like we were saying in the pre-market yesterday. It got down to 889 before that rally started and lifted, and obviously the JCPenney comments to the ridiculous levels of over $11. Back down to earth here. So we know these secondaries often act like a floor for the stock. I'm just a little bit hesitant in the case of this one because so much news happening on this issue all the time. But the 965 is obviously a big number because that's where the secondary will be priced.
It's interesting to think to look at that as a floor as well too, because they added just so much liquidity to that float that this may just completely change the game for JCPenney. I mean, adding 40% of the float just
Mm-hmm.
thrown on top, that's bigger than most IPOs are. So that's pretty huge. I can't imagine that the managers who just got into this one are too happy with JCPenney right now.
I don't think anybody's too happy with JCPenney right now. Let's move on here to a good news story because we need some good news after all that JCPenney garbage. Nike earnings blow it away again. 86 cents versus 78 cents, 7 billion versus 6.97 billion, and the stock is off to the races last night after they reported and continuing to be off to the races here in the pre-markets. Traded 286,000 shares and is trading up over $4 here.
Yeah, it was definitely a solid quarter for Nike. They reported worldwide futures orders up 8%, which is right in line with analyst expectations. And then they're up 10% if you take out the currency adjustments. Now the North American futures orders are looking good as well. Ex currency, they are up 12%, while the China futures orders looked pretty weak, only up 2%. So they're not capturing a whole lot of growth in China. And I know that they're saying that that's one of their troubled areas. But I mean, if they're not even in China yet and they're able to post these kinds of numbers, it'd be pretty interesting to see where China can go, if they were to get those orders stronger than that.
We do have some simple.
I guess the estimate in China was 0.5%, so that was a solid beat, but it's still not the same kind of growth you're seeing around the world. So interesting to see where Nike could go from there.
Stock itself is making new, I believe this is all-time highs here for Nike. Obviously, we've been on a hell of a tear for the last 4 years here. Easily taking out the 52-week high, which was which was 2 days ago at $70.56. Just looking pre-market action, it's been trading between 74 and 75 quite a bit here. So I'd obviously keep an eye on the whole $74 level. Like to see it hold above that level because that's where it seems to be some buyers there in the pre-market. It's trading up at 74.71 though right now. Looking at some sympathy plays with this one because there is some stocks I've started popping right after the Nike earnings, like Under Armour, UA, popping up $1 here in the pre-market despite the futures being down 7. I think you're going to see some strength across the board in the sympathy stocks here. Also Foot Locker, which is FL, was popping last night. And then we also got this morning more good news in the shoe sector. Finish Line, FINL, also reported earnings there, and they blew it away there too. Do you got those numbers there, Jake?
Yeah, actually, they reported a Q2 EPS of 54 cents, which pretty much crushed estimates of 45 cents. Nice 20% beat there. Company also reported 436 million on the top line, beating the estimates of 426 million. So that's looking pretty good. You had a pair of upgrades leading into this, so it looks like the analysts didn't necessarily see it coming because that was a while back, but they were getting semi-bullish there. Just watch for. Watch for the analysts piling in today. You might get a little bit of an extended rally from that if you do, in fact, get some of the tier ones getting in. But the company did note that it's expecting fiscal year 14 same-store sales growth in the low single digits. So if that can play into your thesis, just keep that in mind.
And we're up 9% here in the pre-market, trading at 24.40. 4 days ago, we got up to 23.65. So I think that's where you may find some support if the stock starts to pull back here. But going out to the weeklies, back on July the 7th, we got up to, back on July the 4th, actually September the 14th, the week of September the 14th, we got up to $24.90. That's about 50 cents away from here, but right under a key psychological number of 25. So if the rally does continue in this stock, I think you'll find resistance probably up there at that high. Just let's quickly look at a couple of the sympathy plays because, like we were saying, Under Armour popping up. I'll do a quick levels for you on that one too. UA obviously trading up here about $1 in the pre-market at 80 and a quarter. Looking at this high back on the 13th of 81.63, obviously you'll probably get some resistance there. And then $80 is probably a key psychological swing number on the stock as well. Looking out here just to Deckers, which is another one that's moving up here slightly in the pre-market, and this stock has been on a real tear. DECK is a symbol there. It was trading a bit higher in the pre-market, 66.49, and it was trading higher after hours last night too. This morning it's kind of trading flat. I mean, the futures are down 7 points, so that does put some weight on it. But this Deckers here has been marching. We look just at the chart here.
Got that upgrade yesterday from Wedbush, bumping that up to outperform. So that definitely can give it some legs.
So Deckers was moving off of that obviously yesterday, and we had the big 2-day move. I always talk about the 2-day move, and you had a big breakout day when it broke out through the whole 63 handle, blew through that, got up to 64, opened basically down there, tried to obviously take out the highs from, and that held, and then it got another $2 pop. So this thing has been on a run already, so maybe some of this priced in on Deckers. Also looking at Foot Locker because it was trading up substantially after hours last night on the Nike numbers. It's trading up substantially here again in the pre-market. It's up at 33.70, so up another $1 here. Interesting enough, these levels sometimes work, folks. Just looking at the 19th, we got up to 33.76. On the 18th of September, 33.74, so a little double top area. And interesting enough, that is where it's struggling here in the pre-market. So keep an eye on that. If you get above there, there's a little bit of air up to the 34 level. We also had Accenture reporting earnings there last night, which is symbol ACN. Jake, how did Accenture do?
I'll just pull up the numbers there. Accenture report, let's get this together. So Accenture reported EPS of $1.01 per share. It's fourth quarter results, beating estimates very slightly by a penny there. Revenues came in at $7.09 billion versus the expected $6.89 billion. So a little bit of a beat on the top line and a very slight beat on the bottom line there. Company did release some guidance, guiding its Q1 2014 $7 billion to $7.3 billion. That's slightly below analyst expectations of $7.39 billion. Fiscal year 2014 EPS was also guided 442 to 454. That puts analyst estimates of 449 in the upper end of the range. So not the best of guidance. And that was actually after that Citigroup maintaining its buy rating on Accenture the day before. So Citigroup stuck its neck out there and that guidance doesn't look so hot.
And you've got Accenture trading down pretty substantially here in the pre-market at $73 right now, closed at 75.87. So they're knocking $3 off the price here. What stands out to me if you're looking at levels is the 72 level, because we had four bottoms if we look from August 27th, August 28th, August 30th, and the 3rd of September, or August, yeah, the 3rd, August 30th. So all at the end of August, we had four bottoms between 71.77 and 72.14. So that whole $72 level, great support down there, but that's a buck below here. So I don't know if you have that much below here. It could start to thicken up as you approach that level there, though. They also did announce, just looking at the notes here, they did announce that they were increasing their semi-annual dividend from 81 cents to 93 cents and also doing a $5 billion stock buyback. So they tried everything they could to, they knew they were lowering the guidance, which would probably knock the price down, but they tried to do some other stuff to keep the stock price up, but I guess it didn't work. A couple other ones I want to highlight here this morning, just looking at lumber liquidators, which is symbol LL. Not a stock we talk about a lot on the show, but apparently the Feds are executing a warrant at their Virginia headquarters. This company is being investigated right now, which is knocking $10 off the price here in the pre-market. It's trading down to 103 on 87,000 shares. Jake, do you know anything about this lumber liquidators?
It's it's hard to get a worse set of news than the Feds are raiding your headquarters. Yeah, we just saw a headline that they were storming in there. So yeah, they're down almost 9% now. So a solid drop there on lumber liquidators. We don't have a whole lot of information on exactly what's going on, but we're keeping our eyes on the situation.
This is always scary. When I see stuff like this, it's hard to just, there's so much fundamental news. You don't know what they're going to find, the Feds here. You don't really know what's happening, so we're kind of in the dark here. So when I see issues like this happening, I kind of just sit on my hands and wait for more information, as opposed to saying, oh, well, there's a good support level, $100 is psychological support. I mean, you can do a technical on anything, but when you have fundamental news like this happening, technicals definitely take a back seat. So on this issue, I'd probably just wait until I obviously get more news and find out exactly what the Feds are looking for and what they find out. Moving here also, LinkedIn is moving down here this morning. LNKD, it's down $6 here, and obviously this has been one of the sources of strengths. I did hear just through the Twitter rumor mill there that ITG was actually issuing a cautionary report or cautionary piece on the stock. I'm not sure if that is the reason that LinkedIn is down here or not, but that's the only thing I'm finding. And the stock is down $6 here in the pre-market, trading down at 248.31 after closing at 254.01. So a little bit of weakness here on LinkedIn. Also looking here, just want to move on to Facebook actually too. Facebook here is a stock that basically trades up every day, but for once it's actually not trading up today. It's down 17 cents here. Actually, Deutsche Bank raising their price target from $43 to $62. So every single day, some analyst comes out and raises their price target. Now, these analysts just seem to chase price. Obviously, back when the stock was $25 and going down, yet all these analysts lowering the price targets. Now all the price targets are out to lunch, so they all got to come and raise them all the time. And it's funny how good the stock responds to this information, which I don't even think is that relevant. Jake, are you still there? We seem to be.
Yeah, I think we've got personal spending coming in. So
yeah, let me get that for you guys. Personal income for August comes in at up 0.4%. That was right in line. Also, just out was personal spending, as Jake said. That one was up 0.3%. That one was also in line.
So you got the S&P futures just kind of treading water here. Same price we're at. The 1685 level, down 7.5 right now. We closed obviously up at 1692.5. I mean, this area has been support. This whole 1685, 1686 level, we're slightly below that right now. But the overnight low, 1684.25, that's the level it really needs to hold here. And obviously, maybe the bulls can come back and take command if that level does hold. It starts to take out that low, and I think these bears could have a pretty big day on their hands here too. Obviously, we've support and resistance have been pretty well defined. The S&P futures up in the 1700, high 1690s. We found sellers the last 3 days, and the mid 1680s we've been finding buyers. So we are right in that area right now where we have been finding buyers. So obviously that needs to continue the pattern. We start to break down from here, and then it starts to open up. Let's just move on here. A couple other ones just to talk about. PetSmart, PETM. Actually, they came out last night, I believe. I'm just looking at the report here. Was this last night, Jake? They raised the quarterly dividend by 18%, announced to
Yep,
535.
they bumped that up to it bumped it up by 18%, 535 million dollar buyback. So pretty solid news of cash distribution there.
It is bid flat right now at 74.55 with 1,800 shares on the bid, some 74.54 too. So there's some size bidding here. It's had no trades this morning, but does look like it probably will open higher because the S&P futures down 7. That's not showing any weakness on this whatsoever. But I will highlight the area of resistance. This is a great area of resistance. This is $75 level. We got up there on the 5th of August. We got up there again on the 13th of August. We slightly got above it at 75.15 on the 20th of August. And then yesterday we got up to 74.94, the 26th of August. Somebody is using this whole 74.90 as a 75.14 area and lightening up because you've got 1, 2, 3, and you have multiple highs just below that level too. So definitely somebody wants to take a piece off on PetSmart in the $75 area. We'll have to see if this buyback slash quarterly dividend raise can push it through that resistance level, but I would not get bullish the stock until it starts taking out that 75.15 level. And even if it does take that out, if it comes back through the 75, I don't like it either. So I want to see, if I'm going to get bullish the stock, I want to see it take out 75.15 and stay above 75. I don't know if I see that happening today, and I think you might run into a situation where that same guy or whoever institution is coming in, it looks like in dropping stock, they might be using this as an opportunity to drop more stock again. So keep an eye on that 75 level. It's very relevant in this issue. Gold is popping here a little bit this morning, and I just want to look at some of the individual miners here because we haven't talked about those in a while. Looking here at Barrick Gold, because you got gold, the GLD's trading up $1.72 here today. You've got Barrick Gold here trading at 18.80 in the pre-market. So the risk-off trade here that gold is usually, when the market's coming down, usually gold is going up, and that trade has been working again in the last few weeks. And Barrick Gold here getting a little bit of lift here. Just looking at resistance though, $19 is pretty big on Barrick. Going to Gold Corp, which is symbol GG, 26.20. So it's trading up a little bit better than the Barrick is this morning. It closed at 25.68. And then the other one, Newmont, which is the other big gun, NEM, 28.60 is where it's trading. It's got some resistance up at 28.80. So some of these miners are opening into resistance here, but gold is getting a good pop. And Jake, any thoughts on those?
I mean, you're just gonna see them kind of trading along with gold there, but it should be interesting to see where they go.
Also looking here, I just want to highlight Goldman Sachs actually getting downgraded today here by Guggenheim Securities. The stock is trading down about $1.50 at 160.98, closed at 162.59. So that's putting it right about where it got down to yesterday at 161.04. Tell you, if it starts taking that area out, you got that gap in the chart, which is down to 159.70. So you got about a $1.30 gap in here. So if the stock starts to get into that area, it could move through that area very quickly.
Another one we may want to touch on, is going to get a lot of traffic today, is the Blackberry report this morning. Did report earnings, a loss of 47 cents a share versus the expected loss of 49 cents a share. Revenues came in at 1.6 billion versus the expected 1.62 billion. So not a solid number for Blackberry there. The gross margins came in at a negative 24% for Blackberry. So
Wow.
Things looking pretty rough. But it's not quite as bad as some traders were expecting, so it looks like they're getting a relief rally. BlackBerry didn't announce they're going out of business, so I guess some traders are bidding them up.
That $9 offer looks like a dream all of a sudden. Everybody was complaining about it, thought it wasn't enough. I bet you these guys buying this thing at $8 now and $7.95 yesterday are saying, man, $9 looks pretty good all of a sudden from if that actually goes through. Obviously, I still think it was more of an icon type of deal by Fairfax there, where they were just talking obviously their position and trying to get hopefully another suitor to come to play. I don't think that I'm not, I'm just speculating here, but I'm not 100% sure that they're going to find the financing, or they're as serious as they were about that $9 offer, or the stock would be trading a lot higher. So obviously concerning that we broke through $8 and made new lows yesterday despite a $9 potential deal being on the table, and also concerning these 24% margins losing. Holy cow! That just seems crazy to me, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just an absolutely brutal margin there. It makes me wonder who really wants to acquire them. I
Yeah.
know there was some speculation yesterday that their security products are suitable for the Department of Defense, but I just don't see where the appeal is when a company is losing that much money. Even if it goes bankrupt, it's going to be sitting on 650 million in debt. So pretty rough outlook here for BlackBerry, but. I know some people were commenting that maybe if it gets down to like $4, that
$4.
Microsoft might pick them up just for the patents to throw it on top of Nokia, but I don't know.
Wow, that's a stock. Just putting in perspective, where were we back in the day? Looking at the monthlies, it looks like we got up to $148 a share. So, wow. Obviously, the iPhone came in and just destroyed it. And here we are sitting down at $8 now and hoping for a $9 takeout price. Wow. Moving on here, I just want to talk a little bit about these energy stocks because we got Goldman Sachs very active here this morning in the energy sector. They are upgrading Walter Energies, which is WLT. They are upgrading ANR, which is Alpha Natural Resources, and they are also upgrading CNX, which is Consol Energy. They are downgrading CLD, which is Cloud Peak Energy, and they are also downgrading Arch Coal, which is ACI. Obviously, I'm making some calls here in the energy sector, stock-specific calls here. Jake, do you have any of the details on any of these upgrades and downgrades?
Honestly, I haven't had a chance to dive into this report yet, but you definitely see Goldman Sachs, really, picking the winners in this sector.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a report that's worth diving into. So I'll have to take a look at that after the show.
Looking here, just Walter Energy. Obviously, we got up to $15 here yesterday, peeled back a little bit, so I'd keep that area as initial resistance. Is trading at 1476 right now. ANR. Here's another one. Had some great consolidation. I will give the stock this. In this whole low sixes, it's really consolidated well. Around even 620, it's been starting to consolidate. So you hope eventually it could start getting above this whole 643, 650 level and start to, break out on this stock, possibly here too. Maybe that's what Goldman's looking at. Consol Energy had a nice double bottom put in yesterday, kind of 33.49, 33.61. So you could say that area is close to a double bottom. We were trading right up near the highs from yesterday. High yesterday was 34.25. Got up to 34.10 here in the pre-market. So Consol Energy trading higher here as well. And just looking here at the couple they downgraded, Arch Coal, which is pretty actively traded, had a reversal day yesterday, opened up fairly high, near the highs of 475. But if you just look at the chart from yesterday, then drifted down, opened near the highs, obviously drifted down the entire day to close near the lows. Now, obviously, those lows are being taken out here this morning. It's trading down actually below where it was trading in late August at 443. It's trading down at 438 here right now. So Arch Coal looking weak here on the charts. Overall market thoughts here. Like I said, we're at 1685 here. We're kind of just treading water. It's the same spot we were when we started the show 20 minutes ago. I kind of see this 1685, 1684 level as being key. The bulls need to defend this level because if you get below 1684, it will start to open up here. Obviously, if we go into rally mode, I'm seeing the high overnight high 1695.50 as resistance, and all the way up to 1700 as resistance. So resistance very well defined. We're at support right now. Take this out, and it could get interesting. That's our show for today, guys. Joel will be back with us next week. Thanks to Jake for filling in here, and we'll be back with you guys on Monday.